Greetings, Community Allies. Welcome to week 2 of our Vacation Bible School. Today, we're learning about how to live with justice and mercy. God calls us to live with justice and mercy in the book of the Bible called Micah, chapter 6, verse 8. He has shown you, O mortal, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. I'd like you to close your eyes for a moment. Take a restful breath and relax. Can you think of a time when you experienced something good? Where were you? Whom were you with? What were you doing? Now, think about how your body feels when you think of that good thing. Does a part of your body feel special? Lots of people feel it in their heart, a warmth like the sun shining. Where do you feel it? This feeling in our body is God showing us what is good. Now I'd like you to think of something that happened that wasn't good. Where were you? Whom were you with? What was happening? How does your body feel when you remember that something bad that happened? Does a part of your body hurt or feel uncomfortable? Again, that strange or uncomfortable feeling is God reaching out and letting you know something isn't right. For me, when something is good, I feel like I'm getting a warm hug. God is wrapping their arms around me and loving me. When I see something wrong, my tummy hurts. It's been like that my whole life. Some people feel it in their hearts like a storm, dark and dreary and cold. Sometimes I want to run away from this feeling and the situation that's happening. When I feel like this, I know it is God showing me that something is wrong. Do you ever want to run away too? I feel like this when I see people of color being hurt and killed because of their skin color. I also feel like this when I see the environment being hurt or destroyed. I also feel like this when I hear about families, even in Washington, D.C., who are homeless and don't have enough food. Do these situations make you feel it in your body too? Have you ever seen something wrong and felt that God was using your body to help you see it? So, what does God want us to do when we experience something that's wrong? God wants us to act with justice and mercy. One way we can describe justice is love in action. We can think of mercy as helping someone or something who is hurt or in danger. We can think of mercy like someone helping you get a Band-Aid after you trip and fall and scrape your knee on a rock. Justice is when the rock is moved out of the way so that you nor anyone else gets hurt by it again. Acting with justice and mercy towards others is being an ally. An important part of being an ally is listening to the needs of the people we are trying to help. The last phrase in the passage says, "and to walk humbly with your God." To be humble means that we don't need to call attention to ourselves as we work for justice and mercy. Allies work to lift up others because that is what God calls people to do, not to get praise and glory for their actions. This week, we are going to explore some examples of justice and mercy happening in the world. Our story is called Something Happened in Our Town by Marianne Solano, Marietta Collins, and Ann Hazard. The book is illustrated by Jennifer Zavoyne and is being read with permission from the American Psychological Association. In this book, a black man is killed by the police, and the children in the book, one is white and one is black, want to understand why. This book will help us think more about justice and how to identify injustice and how to act when we see it. It also helps us remember what we talked about last week, which is seeing a story from different people's perspectives. Something happened in our town. Okay, there we go. Something bad happened in our town. The news was on the TV, the radio, and the internet. The grown-ups didn't think the kids knew about it, but the kids in Miss Garcia's class heard some older kids talking about it, and they had questions. After school, Emma asked her mother, "Why did the police shoot that man?" "It was a mistake," said her mother. "I feel sad for the man and his family." "Yes, the police thought he had a gun," said her father. "It wasn't a mistake," said her sister Liz. "The cops shot him because he's black." Emma was confused. "He is brown, not black," she said. "Some black people have dark brown skin and some have light brown skin," Emma's father explained. "Black usually means African American. Most of their ancestors were brought here from Africa as slaves." "I know what a slave is," said Emma. "That's when you have to do whatever the other person says." Yes, slaves had to do whatever white people told them to do. Even after slavery ended, white people didn't let black people live where they wanted, go to school with white people, or vote. Who were white people? White people came here from places in Europe or Russia or other countries. We are white, even though our skin is light tan. "Did our family do those bad things a long time ago?" asked Emma. "Yes," answered her mother. "Back then, many white people thought that they were better than black people, even though it wasn't true." Liz added, "Some white people still think most black men and boys are dangerous, even though they're not." "Was the man that got shot dangerous?" asked Emma. "No," her mother said. "Shooting him was a mistake. It was a mistake that is part of a pattern." "Like the pattern on my blanket?" Emma asked. "Yes, but this pattern is being nice to white people and mean to black people. It's an unfair pattern." "Suppose you had a birthday party and invited everyone in your class except the black kids," her mother said. "How would the black kids feel?" "They would be sad," Emma said, "or mad." "And you would be missing out because you never know who is going to be your best friend," said Liz. "And you can help others to be fair," said her mother. "Like telling Anna to stop teasing Ling about her name?" asked Emma. Her mother gave her a hug. Yes, just like that. In another house, Josh asked his mother, "Can police go to jail?" "Yes," said his mother. "Why do you ask?" "That white policeman who shot the black man," said Josh. "Will he go to jail?" "What he did was wrong," said his mother. "But he won't go to jail," said his father. "Why not?" asked Josh. "Cops stick up for each other," said Josh's brother Malcolm, "and they don't like black men." Josh was confused. "Why not? Some police are black." "You're right," said his mother. "Uncle James is a police officer, and so is my friend Kenya." "There are many cops, black and white, who make good choices," said his father, "but we can't always count on them to do what's right." Malcolm added, "I could get stopped by the police just because I'm black, even if I don't do anything wrong." "That's not fair," Josh said. "What if it was a white man in the car? Would the police have shot him?" "They probably wouldn't have even stopped the car," said his father. "Sometimes white people are treated better than black people," said his mother. "But it's not right. Everybody should be treated fairly." Josh's mother gave him a hug. "We're proud of who we are. Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela were strong and brave Black leaders. They showed us that as we can stand up for our rights and set good examples for others. They were treated unfairly, but helped others learn to be more fair. Some people haven't learned yet, said his father angrily. Why are you mad? Asked Josh. I'm mad that we're still treated poorly sometimes, but I can use my anger to make things better, said his father. Black people have a lot of power if we work together to make changes. I have power, said Josh, and I'm smart. His father smiled. You're right. His mother added, and you can change people's hearts by sticking up for someone who is not treated fairly. Like how Malcolm sticks up for me when the kids tease me about my glasses? Josh asked. He tells them to step off. Just like that, his parents said. Sorry about that. The next day, a new kid joined Emma and Josh's class. His name was Omad, and he was from a country far away. Omad didn't know where to sit or what to do because it was his first day in school. He talked a little bit, but it was hard to understand him. He said he was learning English. After lunch, the class went outside to play soccer. Daniel and Sophia picked kids to be on their teams. All of the kids were picked to be on a team except Omad. Daniel said Omad probably didn't know how to play because he was new. Sophia said Omad might not be good at soccer. Josh remembered what his mother said about sticking up for people who are treated unfairly. Emma remembered what her mother said about unfair patterns and birthday parties. All of a sudden, Omad wasn't alone. Emma and Josh were leading him to their team. We have enough kids on our team, Daniel said. We don't need him. But Josh was ready. Step off, he said. He's playing. Yeah, said Emma. We don't want to miss out. And just like that, Emma and Josh gained a new friend and started a better pattern in their school. And that's the end of Something Happened in Our Town. Okay, now to finish the video, I'm going to set this back up again, hopefully so you can see me. There we go. Okay. So now that we finished reading Something Happened in Our Town, think about how the book made you feel. What messages did God send you about the killing of the black man in the story? Did you feel any of the feelings we talked about for when God shows us that something is wrong? How about when Emma and Josh stood up for Omad? Did you feel any of the feelings we talked about for when God shows us that something is good? Did you see how they remembered the message of justice each of their parents taught them? God wants us to learn so that when we see injustice, we remember his call to act justly and love mercy. So, what fun is up for this week in Vacation Bible School? One of the activities is to make an obstacle course in your house, yard, or the playground. Create a path that everyone has to follow and see how well each family member does. Who can go the fastest? What happens if you let one family member skip around all the obstacles? Now who goes fastest? There is also a matching game to play to think about the difference between charity and justice. What is charity? It's when we see someone in need and we give them what they need because they need it now and they don't have a way to get it for themselves, like contributing to a food pantry. Justice is when we act to change the way our society works so that people can get what they need for themselves. For example, if we are an employer, we can make sure that we pay our employees a living wage so they can afford their own food. Both charity and actions to make our world more just are important. So important, God reminded us of them in our verse for today. Act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. I'll see you on Thursday. Have a great week.